As you can see here, the liner on our koi pond is exposed where the winter was so dry, as winters tend to be. The water evaporated, and now we have this exposed liner. What's also interesting, I'll drop my phone in here. That would be bad. Well, we also have, lately it's been a pretty dry spring. We've had some humid nights because you were in South Carolina, but starting to see this, I guess that's algae or whatever that is on the side, some sort of growth, which is good. That's, nutrients in the pond. I'm going to be dropping a bunch of Japanese trapdoor snails into this pond either tonight or tomorrow. They're coming in. I ordered them from a company called Pretty Koi Fish. What a great name. They're based out of Lima, Ohio. They're not endorsing this video or anything like that, but just giving them a shout out. They're sending 55 Japanese trapdoor snails. Now, what I've read for a pond of this size, typically 10 to 20 would be sufficient. From my research, and what I'm finding is it's not going to harm the pond in any way to add in 55 of them. And of course, some of them will probably arrive dead. I always give you a few extra. So, but my plan is to put them throughout the pond. Whoa, I forgot I had that there. And then here in the filter, and I was asking Copilot about this. Of course, AI is not always reliable, but I'm going to put some underneath that filter basket there. We're getting a lot of runoff this time of year. This Japanese elm or maple or whatever it is dropping these little seed clusters or whatever they are into the pond, and they're accumulating here. And yesterday it was actually smelling pretty rank. I'm going to empty that in a little bit, but kind of hard to do that with one hand while filming. But I think some slugs had fallen in there, and they were probably starting to decompose a little bit. It's probably not good for the fish. So I emptied that yesterday and cleaned that out good, cleaned out the bristles, and it's doing pretty well. Now, it doesn't have that smell, but one of the challenges is you can't just put tap water into the pond. So I got this Boogie Blue Plus filter. It's about $60, maybe 50 on Amazon, but it's one of the top rated filters. I'll put a link for it in the description for this video. But anyway, it's a very good filter. In fact, when I first turned it on, I had to flush it for about 20 seconds. It took a second for the water. I just installed this hose as well. And so it took about 10 or 15 seconds before it started to flow. And it was almost a disastrously comical situation. I picked the thing up, and of course, you never just point something that has anything shooting out of it at your face. That sort of gun and hose safety 101. But long story short, this thick black sludge came out. That's the sort of built up carbon and things that are in the filter. So you have to let it flush for about 20 or 30 seconds. I'll probably give it a little more and just let it water these plants here. But now it's putting out water, and it's at a slow enough rate that the dechlorinator in there should be catching all the chlorine. Because of course, just adding straight up tap water with chlorine, it's bad for the fish. It'll hurt their gills, and ultimately it'll kill them. So it's a cooler day today. We're in kind of the northeastern section of South Carolina. It's been cool for a couple of days, so I figured this would be a good time to top off the pond. It's not like the water's super hot, and then I'm adding in this cooler tap water. So it shouldn't shock the fish too much with the temperature variable. And in fact, I'm going to start feeding them here in just a minute while I gently top things off. This is probably going to take, it's going to take several hours. I'm going to try to just go ahead and do it all today. And get it back up to where it's supposed to be. I'm sure our water bill is going to be through the roof this month, but that's fine. It's worth it for the fish and to keep them happy and healthy. Now it is a little cooler, so we'll see if they come up. Koi's Choice, America's #1 choice in koi. I don't know if that's true or not, but that is, it's called KT's, Kaytee, I think. Koi's choice. All right, let's see. Let's see if there's any activity today. They've been fairly active because it's been warmer out. So we'll throw out a little bit there. That's something else I'm excited about with the Japanese trapdoor snails is they should clean a lot of this up. There's a lot of muck. There's a lot of pond scum that I pull out of the filter that just builds up over time. So yeah, it's probably a little cold. Oh, there's a little activity. Oh, there we go. There we go. Getting a little activity. They're starting to wake up. I find that they are a little more eager to feed in the afternoon. Maybe just as there's been more sunlight, there's been more time for the water to warm up. They eat more as it gets warmer. But anyway, it's cool seeing them out. I have found that when I feed them in the morning, even on warmer days, they're not quite as active. Yeah, a little activity there. So yeah, the Japanese trapdoor snails, they will eat up some of the uneaten feed. I'm trying to throw too much out there, especially when it's a little cooler like this, but we'll kind of stop there for now and see. Regardless, the JTSs will really do a good job cleaning up the pond. I'm hoping that after a few weeks or a few months, we'll have more clarity. I put some little tiny baby ram's horn snails in back in the winter. I imagine they're still down there. I hope they are. I imagine some of them were snapped up by the koi. I've also got some rosy red minnows, and they're in there. Oh, here we go, some koi action. I did an initial population of 10. I think a lot of those probably got eaten by the koi as it warmed up. But so I add another 20. And they're kind of like a bait fish, but they also will eat biofilm and things like that. So I'm hoping they'll survive or at least start to establish a colony. They have some places to hide out there when it gets warmer and they start to reproduce. So we also added a couple of butterfly koi I picked up at PetSmart, like $17 a pop. And I'll throw a little more out there. I have not seen them since we put them in. My fear when the filter was so rank yesterday was that they had died and they were decomposing in there. But so far, I have not seen them. They're too big for the larger koi to eat, so I'm not really worried about that. That would be a pretty expensive meal. But hopefully they're just hanging out and getting acclimated to the pond. So yeah, I'm very much a novice at all of this. I've learned a lot. We inherited this essentially when we purchased the house. The previous owners had this pond put in. From what I've read, they did a really great job. I mean, you got the sort of bog. I'm not sure if it's a bog system or not, but you got the plant filter over there. We have our little biofilter down here. So anyway, I might be interchanging those. That might be the biofilter. That must be a normal filter. I don't know. But I have learned a good bit. There's still a lot to learn. Don't take any of this as like hard and fast advice on how to care for your koi pond, but just wanted to share this learning process with you. All right, so hopefully tonight the snails arrive and we'll do a little snail drop.